Thank you, Director of the Program, who's also the DG in the Department of Energy. I also like to greet my colleagues from SADC, the Honorable Mkoto Mhlwaile, the Minister of Energy and Metrology from the Kingdom of Lesotho, the Honorable Tom Alwendo, Minister of Mines and Energy from the Republic of Namibia, Honorable Jabulile Mashwama, Minister of Natural Resources and Energy of the Kingdom Eswatini, Honorable Matthew Nkua, Minister of Energy, the Republic of Zambia, the Honorable Eric Molale, Minister of Mineral Resources, Green Technology and Energy Security, Republic of Botswana, the Honorable Augusta de Sousa, Deputy Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Republic of Mozambique. I also like to acknowledge the Deputy Executive Secretary of SADC, Dr. Thembinkosi Mhlongo, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior government officials from SADC, our international partners, CEOs of state-owned companies, Sasol, ESCOM and others, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a great honor and pleasure for me to address you this morning on such a very important workshop that is relevant to our continent and our SADC region in particular. I would like also to congratulate my brothers and sisters from Mozambique who celebrated their Independence Day yesterday. As we all know, Mozambique has been for many years a home away from home for many South Africans. I also take special note and appreciate your presence at this workshop, which is in line with the August 2017 summit theme of partnering with the private sector in developing the industry and regional value chains. And for today, it is our case of gas value chain. Why does SADC need more energy? The world population will grow to 9.2 billion people by 2040. In our continent of Africa, it will grow from 1 billion to 1.8 billion during the same period, an increase of 0.8 billion people, nearly a billion. Urbanization is projected also to increase from 40% to 50%, and the economy is also expected to grow by 6.2%, leading the African gross domestic product to rise sixfold with a per capita income of $10,000 US. This will not happen if we do not have sufficient energy capacity in the African continent. At present, only 39% of our population in Africa is electrified, compared to 70 to 90% in other regions of the world. Access to modern energy services, though increasing, remains limited, with more than 650 million people in our region without access to electricity and nearly 730 million relying on traditional use of biomass for cooking. Energy poverty, therefore, characterize our region. The anticipated population growth will be made possible by supply of secure, clean, and sustainable energy. Energy access is that golden thread that weaves together economic growth, human development, and environmental sustainability. As a continent, we need to ensure that we have universal energy access to clean, sustainable, and affordable energy by 2030. This universal target should not elude us as a SADC region. As SADC and individual members of SADC, we have identified, as we have seen in the previous presentation, gas as an integral part of the regional energy mix. And this workshop in particular will allow us to deliberate on the role, the infrastructure, and market development requirements for the gas sector to take off. What is the status of gas? As we have heard from NEPAD, a professional here, natural gas is an adaptable fuel and supplies 22% of the energy that is being used worldwide. It makes up nearly a quarter of electricity generation, plays a very critical role as a feedstock for our industry, has fewer emissions of most types of air pollutants and carbon dioxide, and also still produces an equal amount of energy. Global gas consumption is projected to increase from 124 TCFs by 2040 to about 177. Production will also be dominated, as we have had, Middle East, China, United States, and Russia. However, in Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, gas production has significantly increased. This growth has come from mainly West Africa, as the region in Southern Africa has huge gas reserves in Angola, Tanzania, Mozambique, and Namibia. Gas, therefore, contributes the largest increase in world primary energy consumption, second only to renewable energy sources. The high flexibility of gas power technology also makes gas a suitable complementary power generation technology to renewable energy technologies. Abundant natural gas resources and rising production, which includes supplies of tight gas, shale gas, and coal-bed methane, contributes to the strong competitive position of natural gas. Recent discoveries of new supplies of gas and decreasing gas prices below expectation has also heightened the awareness of natural gas as a key component of energy supply mix in a carbon-constrained world economy. What about SADC regional gas reserves? A detailed analysis of our region shows that, for instance, Angola's natural gas reserves are estimated at 11 TCF. Mozambique has more than 180 TCF of gas discovered, and therefore there is a potential for this to be doubled by 2030. Tanzania has made significant gas discoveries and currently has more than 57 TCF of proven gas reserves. Namibia with 1.3 TCF of proven gas reserves with an estimated potential of 10 TCF. South Africa, Botswana, and Zimbabwe have significant unconventional gas reserves in the form of coal-bed methane and shale gas. What are the economic opportunities of gas? The natural gas reserves within our SADC region present a significant opportunity for industrialization that can boost economic growth, create much-needed jobs, and attract new investments in our region and increase significantly energy access for our people. This enormous opportunity can only be realized if the region develops that requisite gas processing, transportation, and distribution infrastructure to supply the region so that SADC will not only limit itself to being a gas exporter. The economic benefits of gas extraction, of infrastructure and market development in the SADC region is to stimulate productive activity and contribute positively to gross domestic product for all our countries. Furthermore, exploiting gas reserves such as natural gas, shale gas, and coal-bed methane reserves will result in significant job opportunities and contribute billions of US dollars to the regional GDP every year. Subsequent employment opportunities generated will alleviate poverty that we see in our SADC region. ladies and gentlemen, and guests. Gas is used in the residential and commercial sectors. It is used for domestic hot water production, space heating, and cooking. In the industrial sector, it is used for process heating as well as feedstock like nitrogenous fertilizer production, gas to liquid, amongst others. Natural gas is also used as a fuel for power generation and transportation. Gas usage as a vehicle fuel remains low, but is gaining more and more importance in other regions of the world. The majority of our population in SADC depends on solid biomass for cooking, as I've said. The proportion is exceeding 90% for our rural populations. Natural gas is an excellent candidate as clean cooking fuel, but requires dedicated infrastructure, such as distribution network, to be efficiently supplied to the end user. Compressed natural gas can also be used as fuel for road transportation. Natural gas vehicle growth is particularly important, as we have seen around the world. An important advantage of natural gas over diesel and gasoline is a lower level of emissions. Our SADC region is a net importer of oil products, and the retail prices of diesel and petrol are very, very high. Therefore, domestic natural gas could offer a competitive alternative which will also save in our balance of payments. SADC is dependent on agriculture, but regional agricultural productivity is very low compared to other developing countries. One of the main reasons is the lower use of fertilizers. This low use of fertilizers is essentially due to the relatively high retail prices for the farmers. The supply of fertilizers relies on imports, and the transportation cost, including ocean freight, port cost, and truck transport, significantly impact the retail prices. Local production of fertilizers using gas will stimulate economic growth in our SADC region. My colleagues and honored guests, important questions that need to be asked if SADC is to tap these economic opportunities from gas development. When one envisions the usage of gas for reindustrializing our region, there are glaring questions that come to mind. Do we have the policy and regulatory framework to provide that enabling environment to exploit our natural resources in our SADC region? Do we have that infrastructure for gas to transport within the region to markets? Does our SADC region have sufficient demand to pay for the infrastructure development? Will there be funding available for all these mega regional projects that our colleague from SADC was talking to us about? Is it possible for SADC to develop a gas industrial complex? Our region has examples of regional projects that have been successfully implemented. The West African gas pipeline involving Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, and the gas pipeline from Mozambique, Timene to South Africa in Secunda. These are small projects, but still very encouraging examples of international and regional cooperation in the field of natural gas infrastructure in sub-Saharan Africa. As evidenced by these projects, there will be a need for policy and regulatory framework alignment to make the development of this infrastructure a reality. Significant use of natural gas in the region has been in the industrial sector, gas to liquids, and gas to chemicals. Natural gas, therefore, is capable of providing electrical power. It can also provide direct heat and chemical feedstock for industrial purposes, for processes, commercial and residential cooking and heating applications, as well as alternative fuel source for transportation. Climate change impact of gas. The low carbon emission profile of gas to power and its modular configuration provides that opportunity for use of gas for power generation in our region. With an average electrification rate of 35%, our region in SADC has an opportunity to develop a cleaner, reliable power generation sector from the use of gas. This gas to power can also support the renewable energy projects in various SADC member countries. Gas market development needs not only to be anchored by power generation, but also other large-scale use of gas programs like petrochemicals industry can also anchor gas markets. Is our region of SADC able to access funding for the gas mega projects? Exploitation of gas resources in our region needs to be complemented by financial resources. Attracting finance of the infrastructure and other associated projects will require a good investment climate, such as right regulatory framework, enforcement of contracts, no corruption to attract investors, and secure capital. Raising capital is a major challenge, and multilateral private financial institutions and development finance institutions have to be our strategic partners who will provide the much-needed funding to these projects, as well as providing a sound and innovating funding models to accommodate individual member state financial circumstances. We have also invited our commercial banks, the development finance institutions, including the newly formed BRICS Bank, for guidance in some of these matters. As I conclude, my colleagues and honorable members, I am very pleased that as chair of the SADC ministers responsible for energy, our country, South Africa, has been able to host this important workshop to assist us as ministers of energy to understand the challenges in putting gas gathering and processing facilities together in place, building gas networks and developing effective markets and pricing systems that will enable the commercial scale use of gas to power and industrial use and general development of gas market in the whole of the Southern African region as a whole. This workshop, therefore, presents a great growth opportunity for industry players that are keen to invest in the SADC region. Furthermore, the different aspects on the driven debates in our preparation for our meeting tomorrow. With those few remarks, I would like to say thank you for attending this workshop and hope for the best for deliberations going forward. Thank you.